Why are these people fighting this hard to exterminate a child in the womb? Alright, so Roe v. Wade has been overturned, and it's something that I'm very happy for. Now, CNN, they released on CNN some articles. There we go. They released on CNN an article called "Protesters Voice Their Fury as Roe v. Wade Reversal Prompts Abortion Bans in Some States." June 25th. So just yesterday. You have two sides of people. You have one side that says life is valuable, that the unborn needs to be protected, that we should stand for the voiceless, the defenseless, the most innocent of all humans we should stand for. And not only when they're in the stomach, but also when they're out of the womb and the parents need help, we should be the ones to step in and help them. That's our side. The people that support Roe v. Wade say it's not a human, it's a parasite. It's not willing. We're not willing to keep it if it can't sustain life without help. It's not a baby. It's a pile of cells up till birth. If you don't have a uterus, you can't talk about it. Men don't have a voice on it unless you're transgender. That's their side. Let's see how their side has been reacting. And I think this is important because it's funny because I see people commenting down below saying that Christians are a threat to society, to a democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom to abortion, and blah, blah, blah. We are a threat to government. Our ideology makes us even more dumber. This is the atheistic worldview. This is the unbeliever's worldview. Many of them, not all of them, say that we are a threat to society. This is how society looks at Christians, is that we are a threat to society because we believe that all lives matter, that life begins at conception, that we are formed in the womb, that we are specially made. When I was hearing about this, I honestly wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. Not only is it because we're doing the right thing for a republic in which the United States was, but we are sending it back to the states to decide, which should be that way. It should not be the rule of the land, the law of the land. It should not be that. It needs to go back to the states, and that's how it is now. But I almost cried because I was just thinking about the millions of lives that now will be saved through states that view life as sacred, an image bearer of God, an individual with a purpose. Abortion right protesters continued to voice their fury and anguish nationwide Saturday following the ruling of the U.S. Supreme Court to eliminate the federal constitutional right to abortion. Why is that a thing? It should be going down to the states originally. On Friday, the court overturned the 1973 ruling known as Roe v. Wade, sparking the protesters that are expected to extend throughout the weekend. Riot police surround the Arizona Capitol after protesters reached the front of the Arizona Senate building following the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade on Friday. See, I have the thought that not only a couple churches should be the voice of the voiceless and help the defenseless and the most innocent of all lives. There's certain things that I know that the Bible tells us that everyone should be doing. I think it's as easy as saying that when we look at the laws, the two laws of Christ, love God and love others, when it comes down to treat others the way you want to be treated or love your neighbor as yourself, I think that's way more deeper than we actually think. When we look at ourselves, what do Christians want to do, or should want to do, or ought to do? We want to love God. We want to obey His commandments. And when we look at that, and we look at all the verses that talk about how life is so precious in the eyes of God, how can you stand there and not want to do anything when a friend tells you they're going to get an abortion? How can you stand there and condemn the Christians that are standing in front of Planned Parenthood, saving hundreds of babies' lives? There's another thing that came to my mind when I started seeing this, and it was this. When the world goes to crap, and there's riots, and there's protests, and there's deaths, and there's murders, and the police have to come in, and they have to start throwing tear gas, and blah blah blah, and this and that. Why is it that people like to look at God and blame God for all these evil acts that I'm about to read to you? And this is evil. This is unnecessary lawlessness. Why do they look at God and blame God for the evil in the world when they are the ones that are not upholding the law? And I'm not just talking about the law, I'm also talking about scripture and the commandments that we are told to obey. Police use tear gas to disperse crowds. And I think this is horrible what Joe Biden says. President Joe Biden described it as a sad day for the U.S. He plans to continue to find solutions to ensure abortion rights. White House press secretary reports she declined to offer details on potential executive actions regarding abortion that the administration is weighing. In Phoenix, law enforcement used tear gas late Friday to disperse a crowd of abortion rights supporters. If they were supporters, they would be just probably marching the streets. That's about it. And yelling, "My body, my choice," or something that's stupid. But what were they doing? They were repeatedly pounded on the glass doors of the state Senate building. See, are they going to treat this the same as January 6th, the insurrection of the Capitol? Are they? Are they going to call out these rioters and these protesters? I'm not even going to say protesters. Rioters who are literally pounding on the glass doors of the state Senate building in Phoenix. In Oregon, 10 people were arrested on Friday night during a demonstration dubbed Night of Rage. That title right there scares the hell out of me already. Those arrested ranged in age from 18 to 29. According to the release, 9 people were charged with disorderly conduct, one of whom was charged with the resisting arrest. Police said demonstrators started gathering Friday night just before 9:30 p.m. in front of the medical building. The crowd grew to more than 75 people who blocked roadways and vehicles. So we're back to doing that. Blocked roadways and vehicles. Why are these people fighting this hard to exterminate a child in the womb? A forming, living being in the womb. These people, 75 people, blocked roadways and vehicles in support of murdering your child. Demonstrators at one point were seen throwing rocks or other objects, and unknown individuals also threw smoke bombs at police officers. So, demonstrators at one point were seen throwing rocks and other objects, and unknown individuals also throw smoke bombs at police officers in support of murdering your child. Because that's what they're doing. Destroying a forming human being in the stomach. One man standing amid row is dead. Arrested 2 people on Saturday afternoon for the destruction of property after they were accused of throwing paint over the fence by the U.S. Supreme Court. These are people who support the murdering of babies. This is the reaction when the murdering of babies is given down to the states. You understand, like, the March of Life, right? The March for Life whole thing campaign that was happening. Go out to the streets, you march for the life, you wear red, you hold up signs that say, life is sacred, Jesus is king, all that type of stuff. It was a Christian movement, okay? So March for Life. They protested by marching the streets and showing their support to life. I don't ever remember seeing March for Life throwing paint cans at the Capitol buildings in the capitals in which they were in. It was always peaceful protesters. These are rioters. June 24th. I'm starting to question why Florida's not restricting. But look at this. When Roe v. Wade was law of the land, you can make the heartbeat bill and push bills that would help slow down abortions and everything, but you couldn't all the way get rid of abortion. Now you can. California. The right to obtain an abortion in California is protected until the fetus is considered viable and in cases where the procedure is necessary to save the patient's life or health. This here should be the only reason why an abortion should be allowed, is to save the patient's life. That's about it. Or health, when it comes down to any dangers of that patient, okay? The majority of these people are acting like little children, running around, getting in trouble, and then they like to point at other people and blame them for their issues. Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii. Forced birth equals violence. In some instances, the laws go into effect immediately, while in other states, they will become effective after a certain period of time. See, if this was Trump supporters or Christians, it would be called an insurrection. Look at this. It'd be another January 6th holiday. Safe abortion is a human right. Everything they do, they say is a human right. It just becomes it's just stupid. This is their idea of also debating and having conversations with people. Pro-life, pro-death. Abortion is mean. Even got socks made for that. It's actually pretty cool. Peace out, Roe. Overturn Roe. Hell no. So they got kids that don't even know what it is. Because I'll tell you right now, that age group right there, they have no idea really what's happening. It's a 9-year-old, that's what it says, 9-year-old daughter. A lesson we have always taught our children is they are the bosses of their own bodies. That right there is an unbiblical teaching that is anti-Christian right there. It is not your body. It is not your body. You can view it as your body. Obviously, we should take care of our body. You know why? Because your body is a temple. It honestly hurts me looking at this photo because I work with children this age and they love everybody. And to see this, children agreeing with the murder of babies, when 9 years ago this child was a baby and in the womb, this child does not realize that their parents could have ended them. But they're fine with that. They're raising their children to be fine with that. That's disgusting. Not yet a human. Did we see anybody of this? Anybody that was anti-Roe v. Wade? Spray painting walls? Get your laws off my body. Self-defeating argument right there. Is she holding a stick? I love seeing that. Self-defeating. Alright, so I just wanted to make that video. But I want to continue talking about that really quick on that last topic. People that are lawlessness and do evil. And all right to spray paint and break glass and everything. Those lawlessness and that evil. Then those people complain that God allows this evil to happen. And they blame God. And they don't want to believe in God because there's evil in the world. And they blame him. They blame the Christians. They blame the church for these problems. When in reality, we're the ones that protest peacefully. We protest without spray painting walls or breaking glass, etc. A lot of people are going to say, what about the January 6th? Anybody there that was a Christian, I condemn that. Anybody who was there breaking stuff and causing a havoc and throwing stuff at the police, I completely condemn that. And by their actions, by the fruits that they produced that day on January 6th, I would say, and I would question their faith. But if they were the ones that were protesting peacefully, surrounding the Capitol, and that's all they were doing, standing on the steps, I do not condemn that. That building, the Capitol, the White House, that's our building. That building is supposed to represent the United States of America. And I don't want my building and the Capitol and the beacon of hope and life to represent death. So I'm happy that Roe v. Wade has been overturned and it's gone down to the states now. I am happy about that. But now all I have to say is that the church needs to be ready for what is to come from this.